Hi, and welcome back to my channel. So it has been a fair amount of time since I posted a video. The last video that you probably saw that I uploaded was the final video in the water distillation series of videos that I have on this channel, and there is a full playlist of water distiller and distillation process videos in that playlist. But so this video is going to be a bit of an update on where I am now and how my move went from Tennessee back to Florida. So one of the videos that I posted, I would say within the last maybe 2 to 2.5 months, was me speaking with you about the fact that I had made a final decision to return to Florida, and that my boyfriend at the time, Conrad, was going to stay behind in Tennessee. We basically had reached a point where after the second visit to Florida, which we made in January of this year, I did make a final decision to return to Florida and to do it on my own by myself. We had made a visit in June, and June of 2023, that is, and I wanted to return. I wasn't 100% there yet. And then of course our lease renewal on the apartment was coming up, so we decided to extend it another 6 months. Mostly that was for him. Most of the reason why, nearly 100% of the reason why we came to Tennessee was for his career. We both work for the same company. The cat, yes, I have all 4 of my cats. I got custody of them. But the primary reason why we went to Tennessee was for his career advancement with the company that we both work for. And I really didn't want to come to Tennessee. I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to move. I didn't really like it that much. It's not Tennessee's fault at all. I just didn't really like it. And in June, when we came to Florida, I just wasn't quite ready to come back. And the 6 months he felt was going to buy him enough time. He was waiting for yet another promotion, and that had a lot to do with whether he or we were going to keep that apartment, because he was a floating manager at the time, so he was going to different stores to fill in as a manager, an assistant manager. And he just had this feeling that if he could buy himself 6 more months, he could potentially get promoted. And that's exactly what happened. He did get promoted into the position that he wanted. In fact, in order for us to have even gone to Tennessee, he had to take a step back out of management and go into a clerk position. So it was a very, very high risk. It was a high risk move, literally. And for him, it worked out very well. For me, I cannot say the same. I had a very, very difficult time adjusting to being in Tennessee. And I won't get into all of that quite yet in this video, but I just had a very difficult time adjusting. I needed more time to prepare for the move. We only had about 6 weeks maybe to pack, and it was a very disorganized and rushed move, very difficult. So it didn't work out. In retrospect, my relationship with Conrad was over a lot earlier than either one of us was willing to admit. I would say that the fact that this move even came up between the two of us, that should have been my opportunity to break things off and stay behind and allow him to go up to Tennessee and see if he could, work his career the way that he wanted to. So with or without me, it looked like it was going to work out for him. Company loved him up there. They did not love me very much. Those are reasons I won't get into in this video. Again, that might be another video at some point. But working for the same company, it started in Florida and it's migrated to other states that are in close proximity to Florida. And Florida set the standards plural for this company, and yet when I went there and I brought those standards with me, they were not appreciated. And some people told me, they're gonna love you up there, you've got great standards, you have a good work ethic, you know your job. And I had other people tell me, you're not gonna like it. They do things very differently up there. And some of those people were absolutely correct. So I had a difficult time being there. And so long story short, I did make my move. I'm back in Florida, and getting here was a little bit of a challenge. I had one of my 4 half-brothers took some vacation time from Michigan from his job up there, and he came down and helped me load up a cargo van, and I would just put my belongings in there with the 4 cats. And I sold my old Ford Bronco, which I mentioned in the last update video. I sold that. Have some minor regret about that, but the vehicle is gone, and I have replaced it with something else much newer and something that I really like, that suits me much better. But part of what happened with myself and Conrad was that I mentioned in one of those other videos, the age difference between the two of us was about 21 and a half years. So me being the older of the two of us, when we first started going out, it was great. We had a lot of fun together. He seemed to appreciate the age difference and was really quite respectful towards me. And over time, of course, as people would say, the novelty wears off. The honeymoon phase is in the rear view mirror, and you just become complacent and very comfortable with the other person. And not that being comfortable with your partner is a bad thing, it's not, but sometimes you do need to put some effort in with your relationships. And I certainly did, but I found that I made the move because I loved him and I supported him with his career. But from the very onset of our relationship, I was not a priority. I wasn't even in the top 3. It's always been for him career, family, and friends, and then somewhere his personal relationship to me was there. But for me, he was always at the top, and that's one of the reasons why I made the move. And I sacrificed literally a year and 4 months of my life just in Tennessee, in that part of the 4.5 to 5 years that we were together. you know, I spent a lot of time focusing on just solely him, and in the process, I lost a lot of time. I can't say that it was a waste of time. There certainly was something to be learned and experienced with this person who definitely had an impact on my life, and not necessarily a negative one. He certainly became my best friend, and our relationship, very early on, we became more companions and roommates, and the more intimate part of our relationship just went off track, and was being ignored. And of course, when that happens, and it happens frequently with people, if you don't address it and get some help for it, your relationship is likely to fail, and ours certainly did. So that's that, I guess. In January, when I had made the decision to return to Florida, I hadn't mentioned that to Conrad yet. We were planning on having a discussion about that, and one afternoon we were both off from work, and I was sitting on the floor, and he was sitting on the couch, and he was getting very fidgety, and he said, I have to ask you something. He said, I need to know, are you coming or are you going? Are you going to stay or leave? I need to know. And I looked at him and I said, I'm going to leave, and I am going to return to Florida. And from that point forward, he changed completely. He, you know, up to that point, we would still tell each other that we loved each other. We would still hug each other. And he was still very much my friend. But he did have to go out of state to help our company. Our company was opening up another location in Kentucky, and he had to go for a week. And I hardly heard from him that entire time that he was away, and that wasn't typically normal for him. Anytime he would go away for a week, usually to go see a friend in Colorado, I would hear from him several times throughout the day, and I kind of just left it that way. I didn't really pursue any communication with him while he was away. I just figured I'd just kind of let him be, and just digest the conversation that we had had about my wanting to return to Florida. While I was working, and I had missed a phone call. He had called me on my cell phone, which was in my pocket, and I immediately turned around and I called him in a place where I had some privacy to talk to him, and he answered the phone very curtly, and I could tell by the tone in his voice that he was not off the clock anymore. He was on the clock. So I asked him, I said, I missed your call. He said, yeah, I got some news. And I said, okay. And he told me that he had gotten promoted again, which for me, knowing him and how much he had sacrificed, this entire move was to try to get back into this position that he just got re-promoted to. And he did not really sound happy about it at all. And I congratulated him, and I told him how proud of him I was, and then he turned around and gave a very short speech to me about how he could not have done this without me, without my support, and so on and so forth. And that was that. And so we ended the call, and I didn't hear from him at all. He came back home from this trip, and he just seemed very, very distant and very disconnected, which being older anyway, I kind of was trying to take a step back and look at him and the situation from a different perspective. And I felt that he was trying to cope with the fact that I had made this decision and that I actually am indeed going to leave. So, his coolness towards me was likely just a coping mechanism, and that I need not take it personally. Easier said than done. But anyway, I had some suspicions about something, and most of the time he was always pretty well attached to his cell phone, but at this point, he would never leave it unattended at all. If he did, it was only on the charging pad for, just a brief amount of time, just enough to give him enough of a charge that he could go take it somewhere else. But normally he wouldn't take it into the bathroom with him. Now it was in the bathroom with him. He's got it in the shower with him. I mean, he was guarding it like a hog. So I started to pick up on some things, and I called him on it, and I asked him if he was seeing someone else. And he said, well, I wouldn't exactly say I'm seeing this person, but I did meet somebody. And I said, all right, well, I kind of, by deduction, figured out potentially who may have introduced him to this person or planted a seed. And I actually found out who this person was. It's a girl that I worked with in the first store that I got transferred to when we first went to Tennessee. She was an assistant manager there in a particular department, and she got moved out of that store after I left that store, because I went to another store in Tennessee to work. Same company, just different store. And she had gotten promoted, so after I left, she got a promotion to another store. And while he was floating, before he got his promotion, that's when they met, is that he ended up working in her store. And I guess, he was actually quite forthcoming with me. I was kind of surprised as to how much information he gave me. But he told me that, there wasn't anything going on between the two of them. In retrospect, it doesn't necessarily add up to me that there wasn't something already kind of going on with this girl, especially when on that day in January, he was trying very, he was trying hard to get the answer out of me. Are you coming or are you going? Are you going to stay in Tennessee or are you going to go back home? Because I need to know. And I think at that point, he had already met this girl and been talking with her, and who knows what else. I will never know, and it really doesn't matter, because he and I weren't really doing anything anyway together. That part of our relationship had died a long time ago. So now that I've had time to process all of it, I don't necessarily I understand that he would want to have someone to go out with and talk with and maybe get to know and build a friendship with, and if it turns into something else or builds into something else, that's great. But I just wish that he had, and she had enough respect for me to wait until I moved out of the apartment. So we're looking, if you need more of a time frame, we're looking at like maybe the first or second week in January. And I moved out on March 28th. So, you know, 5 to 7 weeks maybe. But he was doing a lot of conversing, wasn't necessarily coming home on time. You know, who knows? It doesn't matter at this point. I think that he was rushing into something, and, you know, if he can make it work, that's great. But I just wish that it could have ended a little bit differently, especially since I have remained friends with not all, but a few of my former boyfriends, and sometimes it's a nice friendship to have. It's a no pressure friendship because you've already had the relationship, it doesn't work. But if you can maintain a friendship, that's sometimes that can be very nice. And he said, I don't really know if that's gonna work. It's like, I've never had a breakup before where I've been able to even converse civilly with my ex. And I said, well, this is different. I said, I'm older than your ex-girlfriends that you've had before, and I know that from my own experience that it can work. And of course, I would not interfere in any relationship that you have in the future with somebody else. You know, but if you want to try to be friends, we can do that. That was the agreement we had, and that did not work out at all. Because on the last, let's see, so he had this second job. I might have mentioned that in a video. So he was working full-time for the company that we work for, and then at night, for the previous almost a little bit more than a year, he had this second job, and it was doing valet trash pickup, which, by the way, pays quite well. And I had asked if I could jump on with him maybe like a night or two a week, and it wasn't until sometime in January that he put me on Sunday nights with him to do the valet trash. So he had 2 properties, and he was making like $80 an hour, and so he was splitting, like, I think Sundays we got paid more, a little bit more than like a weeknight. And if he had to work at 4 a.m. the next day, he would ask me if I could work, because then we could get the job done faster. Because Sunday nights, like if he had to work at 4 a.m. on a Monday, Sunday nights were the heaviest trash nights. Sometimes he wouldn't get done until like 1:30 in the morning, and then he's got to turn around and be at the other job at 4 a.m. So with my help and his offering to pay me, we were able to get done like around 11:30 at night. So I was able to make a little extra money too, which was nice. But you know, that was the little bit of extra time that I had with him, you know, before the relationship was severed completely. But that the last night that I worked with him picking up the trash was on Tuesday, March 26th. I think that was a Tuesday. My brother, Todd, he was coming in from Michigan to help me, and I told my brother, I said, look, you know, his flight was coming in just as we were going to be coming past the airport, because we had to pass the airport to get back home. And so we just picked my brother up on the way back home after we picked up the trash. And you know, I was kind of hoping that Conrad would, you know, maybe hang out with my brother a little bit and talk with him, and it didn't turn out that way. Conrad had been on his phone all night while we were picking up trash, and we got back to the apartment, and I could sense he was really restless. And you know, Todd was kind of tired, long day, you know, flight, you know, anytime you're taking a flight, it kind of wears you out. And Conrad comes to me and he says, I'm gonna split. I said, what do you mean? And he said, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna go stay somewhere. And at this point, he had told me that he rented a duplex, so he had one half of a duplex that he had rented, and he told me he was gonna stay there. And I said, well, what are you gonna sleep on? I said, the bed is here. He's like, I don't know. And I said, you're not going there, are you? I said, you're going to her place. And he said, what does it matter? And I said, I guess it doesn't. And he got pretty upset and walked away from me. So I closed the door, and I saw him the next day. He showed up, picked up some things, and he just said goodbye to me, and at the door, didn't, no hug, no nothing. And he said, you know, let me know when you get to Florida. And I got to Florida, and I didn't bother to tell him that we got there, that my brother and I got there okay with the cats. So now my brother wasn't too thrilled with the fact that Conrad kind of skipped out. In a sense, it kind of worked out for the best anyway, just because Conrad was going to have to go to work the next morning. It was going to be early. I really wanted my brother to sleep in, so it was kind of nice not having him there, because then my brother and I could move about the apartment freely and not feel like we're tiptoeing around Conrad. So we got everything. We went and picked up the cargo van, and you know, I got to show my brother maybe a little bit, but not that much, around the area that we live in. But at some point, my brother was a bit on edge, very sleep deprived, didn't really sleep in, did not get a good night's sleep. And so at this point, we're at the day that we were going to actually pull out of Tennessee and go back to Florida. And you know, he got pretty upset with me, and I will say that my reaction to my brother really didn't have much to do with the breakup with Conrad. So it's not like I was feeling emotional over my breakup with Conrad. It was really more sort of how things ended. I was really kind of disappointed that friendship really wasn't going to happen, and it's probably just as well in hindsight looking back. I think it's probably ended the best way that it was going to. It certainly was better than any of the other breakups that he had told me he had, where there was a lot of fighting and yelling and arguing and disagreeing, and he and I really didn't experience that. So, you know, that was good. It was an okay or a better experience for him, but emotionally, I was very disappointed in him and disappointed for my brother that he took off the night that my brother came into town. And I was feeling very overwhelmed, because as much as I thought I had a handle on my packing and that I thought I had everything situated, I didn't. I still had quite a bit to do, and here we are at the 11th hour, and it's like, we have to go. And so I had to leave a lot of things behind, and you know, and that's okay. I don't really miss much of anything that I left behind there. So, you know, and pretty much everything that I did leave behind, it's all replaceable. And I actually haven't replaced any of it, so I guess I don't really miss some of the things that I left behind. But yeah, my brother was pretty upset with me, and made a couple of comments about how a bit selfish and that I was making this all about myself. And I mean, I borderline understand where he was coming from, but at the same time, one of the major reasons why he was even there was because of me and because I was going to make the move and that I needed help doing so. And so in a sense, yeah, it kind of was about me for a little bit, but you know, I get it. Once my brother got to Florida and he was able to get some good night's sleep, he went back to being his fun self, and you know, we didn't really have any difficulties after that. But we did have a bit of a mishap on the way down to Florida. You know, we had a very, very packed cargo van, and it was actually a really nice one. It was a budget. It wasn't a transit van. It was the Dodge Ram van that's kind of like a Sprinter van, and it's actually pretty nice. And it was it was packed. I really am embarrassed that I had that much in the way of my belongings. Still, after I went through everything, I still had enough to fill a cargo van with 4 cats. But and I have some video footage, not of actually what happened, but the afterwards where my brother and I had to pull off the road and we had to reorganize everything. We were traveling down I-75, and this is the other thing too, is my brother, you know, I wanted to get to Florida as quickly as possible, but when I said that, my brother took it literally and was driving like 85 to 90 in a fully loaded cargo van on 75, and it was a little too much acceleration for a van like that that's fully packed. And I trust my brother's driving, you know, but still, you just don't know what else is going to happen on the road, and your reaction time and speed to things that happen in your immediate environment on the road, situational awareness. Well, this semi blew a tire, okay, and this guy just kept on going, and because I guess with a semi, for the most part, depending if it's one of your double sets of tires, if you blow one, you can probably still keep on going. He did, but he left like a catastrophic storm of rubber pieces all over the expressway, and my brother slammed the brakes on. So we're doing like 85. He slams the brakes on, and I had one of the cats on my lap, and everything just fell forward. And I thought, oh my God, the cats. And I didn't even care about my belongings. I needed to make sure that my cats hadn't gotten crushed by something. Now, he had secured my 2 wooden dressers to the inside panel of the wall in the van. So those didn't go anywhere, but my cats were all in soft carriers, not the big bulky plastic ones. And I'm like, Todd, we need to get off the road like now and check on those cats. So we pulled off, and I don't even know how they didn't get crushed, but each one of them was just sitting there looking at us when we slid the door open, and they were fine. And then I had one of them up front with me. So thank goodness, no casualties where the felines were concerned. But anyway, we got down to Florida. What was supposed to be about a 12.5-hour trip took 17.5. So we got in about maybe 1:30 in the morning to my friend John's place, which is where I am right now. I'm back in my my little room here, which I might give a tour of at some point. It's tight quarters for me here, and John's got his standing desk over there and his Techzilla thing right there. and he's talked about moving those things down the hallway into his quarters. So that will be a help, because I'd really like to have that corner just for myself, and maybe put a nice chair there. Because the saucer chair that some of you watched me make my videos from, that round chair that it's like a rattan chair with a big round cushion, we actually did bring that here, but there wasn't any room for it at all. So I did donate that, and that's okay. I hope someone's enjoying it as much as I did. So that's the beauty in donating things, is that you can take something you once loved and pass it on to someone else that might not ever be able to afford something like that. So anyway, but yeah, I got here, and John and I back in January had talked about tentatively a figure that I would be paying for rent. And by the time I got here, you know, I didn't have a car, and he told me that I could borrow his car, which would leave him carless. I mean, even though he has another mode of transportation to work, and he works just like right around the corner. And I was like, okay, but I didn't want to I really wanted my own car. I am within walking distance of everything, including work, but since I have to leave for work so early in the morning, it's still very much dark. I would literally have to leave here at like 3:45 in the morning to get to work by 4. And you know, a couple of my brothers are like, you know, other than just convenience, you need to have a vehicle for just your security, personal security and safety. So I did lease a vehicle. I have a 2024 Subaru Crosstrek, and I love Subaru. I think they're a great company, and I love this little car. So I've got a 3-year lease, and I was able to manage the payment. It's actually really pretty low for a lease. And I told my brother, I'm like, don't tell John that I got this car. And he said, why not? Why wouldn't you want to do that? I said, just don't tell him. I said, don't tell him. And he slipped and said something to John, and John's like, oh, okay. And then, you know, when we decided to talk about, you know, what I would pay for rent, it went up to not quite $200. And he told me that the landlord raised the rent from this amount to this amount, which was supposed to be like a $200 increase, and that, you know, I'd be paying this amount instead. And I just wish that, you know, if that was indeed the case, that he had maybe mentioned it a little sooner, that our landlord had moved everybody's rent, had increased it just a little bit, just so that I could mentally prepare for it, and maybe even just financially prepare for it. Because the first 2 weeks I was here, the company gave me 2 weeks off to execute the move and get settled. So that's 2 weeks without a paycheck. And you know, and of course, from the sale of my Bronco, I took most of that money and put it down on the car. And so, you know, when it came to where was I going with this? Gosh. I'm sorry. I worked today, and I've been up since 2:15, and it's I don't know what time it is. It's probably pushing 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I've been up for about 12 hours. I know, poor me. Anyway, so when he found out that I had gotten a car, he's like, you know, that's ridiculous. You need to take it back. You should see if you can return it. And, you know, and I said, well, can you give me a little bit of a break on the rent, at least for, for like the first couple of months? And he said, what, so that I can make your car payment for you? And I'm like, that was actually a really good response. That was a good one, John. that was a good one. I wish I had thought of that myself, but no, that would just be a longtime friend of 14 years helping another one out. But I get it. Listen, what he's charging me for rent is very, very, very reasonable. It's exceptionally reasonable for my location, and it is what it is. And I'm grateful to John. Thank you, John, for allowing me to have a roof over my head and safety. But he's got a girl that comes and cleans. I clean my own quarters, so I don't need to pay for her cleaning services, and I also don't need to help fund her trips to India that she makes several times a year. So back at you. So anyway, no, but she does a good job for him, for the cleaning that she has to do out there. I keep it clean anyway. I keep the bathroom clean and the kitchen clean. I do all his dishes, all that stuff. But if he needs a cleaning person, that's fine. I'm good with it. She's super sweet and does a good job. In fact, that's her business. That's what she does for a living. So that's cool. But this is the update. I just wanted to jump on here and just state that, yeah, I made it. I'm not in Tennessee anymore. I'm back in Florida, and I'm very, very happy to be here. I think it's rained once since I've been back, and it's just been beautiful, hot, sunny days. And although it's hot and humid, I honestly just can't complain about it. I really can't. Tennessee had its beautiful aspects, but I just found so much of it to be very depressing for me. And I'm happy to be back. Everything's very familiar, and just feels good. Plus my mom is here, and my friends are here. John's here, and I have some other friends that I have that I'm just really happy and comfortable to be back here. And I'm working still for the same company, and as of right now, I landed a position that is absolutely perfect for me. I'm still part-time, but I might have talked in some of my videos about the fact that I lost my health insurance last year, because that's due in part to my not having been scheduled enough hours. Where I work, you have to work 1,500 hours the year prior in order to maintain your health insurance for the next upcoming year. And they just didn't schedule me enough hours to maintain. So that fell by the wayside. But, right out of the gate, I was working like 35 hours, and I've had a couple of weeks 37.5 hours, and like 2 weeks ago I worked 45 hours, which I felt that was a lot. And then 3 weeks now, and I've got one more week of 40 hours. So we've been talking about my going full-time, and there usually is a small increase in pay with going from part-time to full-time. And I said, if you can get me the increase, I'll go back to full-time. And if it does not come with an increase, excuse me, I'm gonna stay part-time. So we'll see what happens. But the job I'm doing is it's absolutely perfect for me, because I'm very, very detail oriented, and I love straightening things up and keeping things clean and neat. Working against the clock a little bit, that kind of pressure to some degree is okay for me. I kind of can work well with that kind of pressure, But the pressure I had in the job before, I loved that job, and there was a lot of attention to detail, but the pressure every single week was unbearable for me. So I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that I'm going to be able to keep this job and this position, and just kind of sail forward with it. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to include in this update. Again, you know, I apologize for it being so long since I've uploaded a video, but all of this has been the move and trying to get settled and work. And I have gone back to yoga, and like maybe I mentioned, I've been doing Bikram yoga, which is hot yoga, and I have stopped doing it. I'm feeling the effects of it tremendously, but I've got some other aspects of my life that are quite nice right now, and I'm trying to balance a lot, and I'm not doing a very good job of that. That's going to be another video too. So here's another update inside the major update, and that is that like I've always mentioned, I have a lot of video ideas noted up here, and I would like to get back on a regular filming and uploading schedule. And I've had a lot of comments in the comment area about some ideas, people wanting to know about certain things, like some of the supplements that I take, what I do for my hair, do I color it, what am I doing with it, why does it look like this, all kinds of things. It's all coming, I promise. I promise you it's coming, so please hang in there with me. I've looked at my subscriber count, and it's just absolutely amazing to me that I probably said this before, like have 71 subscribers at one point, and then the last time I think I looked, I had like 368, and it's just mind-blowing to me. And I'm so proud to have each and every one of you spending your time with me, listening to me, and watching my videos. And because I'm just a little person out here, you know, a little insignificant at times, but you know, making these videos, I have a lot of fun with it. And you know, if I can talk to you about anything that I have knowledge about or experience, that's why I'm here, is to just talk to you and tell you about things that I'm doing or things that I've tried before. You know, especially being over 50, you know, things change, especially for us women when we get older. We're not old, we're older, and yeah, things change. But yeah, I've got videos coming. I've got a lot of video ideas swimming around, and I've got to grab one and just sit and do the video. But I keep looking over here because I did a major order on Amazon yesterday, and this is another thing too. I'm gonna get sidetracked again, but one of the things about being in the relationship with Conrad is he was a very he followed the very typical American diet. Grew up in a family of hunters, killing animals to eat, which really I personally have an issue with that. I don't want to sit in a tree stand and wait for that opportunity to, you know, kill some deer out in the woods that's minding its own business. We shouldn't be out in the woods, not unless you're walking through it to enjoy nature, but to be sitting in a tree stand getting ready to shoot the life out of an animal just so that you can eat for the next 2 months just bothers me, especially since we're not in survival mode anymore. We're not. We don't need to kill an animal to live. We just don't. We also don't have fangs or a beak or claws like other animals do, where, and they can eat the meat, they can eat the animal raw, uncooked. That's survival for them. That's their terrain. That's where they live. That's, the woods, the forest, wherever animals are hunted, that's where those animals belong. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's where we belong, especially with some kind of a weapon to end their life, so that we can put a meal on the table. But he had a terrible diet, and I've been vacillating back and forth between vegetarianism, veganism. I was a fruitarian, I was a pescatarian, I've tried keto. I mean, I can do a whole video on this, and I might talk about all the diets that I have tried. And the diets anytime I've tried a new diet, it hasn't ever been to lose weight. There has always been some kind of research done where I have employed the diet for whatever the specific needs were that I was trying to meet for myself personally. And my ultimate goal was to become a vegan, primarily for ethical reasons, for the animals, and then secondarily for myself, health-wise. My ultimate goal is to become a raw vegan and eliminate cooked food altogether. Dehydrated food, if it's not over 118 degrees, maintains the life force of the food without killing it. So that's my ultimate goal. But I still do eat cooked food. I still do prepare vegan meals that are cooked. But I will say that when you are in a partnership or relationship with someone who has a different diet than you have, it's not impossible, but it does make things a little bit more difficult, just from the standpoint that your money isn't just going in one direction of, okay, we're going to purchase this type of food. It's like, okay, it's fast food, it's the meat department, it's the packaged grocery section of the store, it's dairy, or you just head for the produce department, or you head to the spice aisle, wherever the spices are. Vegan butter, I have used that, so different products like that. But yeah, I am free now to buy whatever I want to and prepare my food the way that I want to, raw. And when Conrad wasn't around, he called me a part-time vegan, which wasn't really accurate. For the most part, I spent a lot of time alone in that relationship because he was working most of the time, and that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. But the point I'm trying to make is that he didn't see the food that I was making for myself, all the bitter green salads and the smoothies and things that I was making with greens and powders and things like that. So I really was giving it the best shot that I could. But when you're with somebody that doesn't eat that way, there are a lot of temptations that try to seep into your belief system, and it can cause weakness. And so I still am falling for some of that here and there. But I really want to get the diet cleaned up 100%. I want it tightened up. I want it dialed in, and I want to do it, and I want to do it the right way. And so that's another video that I'm going to make, because it's really important too that right here, this is probably one of the most important things that a vegan has to take is B12. Even a B complex, a good B complex is good, but B12 in particular, you'll hear about this, extremely important to supplement with this, because although, you know, the raw vegetables have high nutrients in them, this for some reason is something that is just, the body just isn't absorbing it well. I don't know if it's just because it's today, it's 2024, and even the organic produce that we're getting is just not, you know, it just doesn't have enough of the nutrients that we need. B12, if you're not taking it, please do. If you are vegetarian or vegan, try to find a brand that's good. This one, of course I need these because I can't see without them. All right, so this brand is Nature's Truth. Nature's Truth, and it's absorbable B12, and that's 1,000 micrograms, which I think is like 100 milligrams if my conversion is correct. But it's a little soft gel, and I like soft gels. Tablets are a little more difficult for me to swallow, but I just take one of these a day. That's the instruction. Yep, one. So, but I'm just going to show you. This is a total sidetrack. So part of my order from Amazon is these 3 products, and I might do a review on these, but I love matcha. Now this one is a sweetened matcha, and this is by a company, got to put these on again, by Cherie Sweetheart, and Cherie, or it's like Cherie, C-H-E-R-I-E, Sweetheart. Okay, and it's sweet matcha powder, sweetened, and the only ingredients here are, where's the ingredients? Yeah, I think it's just cane, it's cane sugar, and yeah, it's organic sweet matcha green tea powder, and cane sugar. And so normally what I would do with something like this, I used to buy I think it's, I'm trying to remember, it might be by Sweet Leaf, I'm not sure, I can't remember. It came in like sticks, like little individual packets, and it's sweet matcha powder, and you can usually get it in the section where they sell tea bags and such in your grocery department. And I would mix it with water. Now some people like to use like milk, or skim milk, or some kind of a oat milk or soy milk or coconut milk or whatever milk you're into. And I usually like it in water. Excuse me. Warm is okay, but I tend to like this cold. So if I ever go to Starbucks, which isn't very often, I only go to Starbucks if somebody gives me a gift card. They have their matcha green tea latte now. Basically, I think that's a warm drink, and they mix it with whatever milk you specify. So it's the cup, warm liquid, and then they add their powder. Starbucks really should consider selling their matcha powder. It is so good. I just love it. It's just like a hint of sweet, and then you've got the matcha. I order it like this, and it always stumps the person who's taking my order. They're like, huh? I order whatever size, like the medium size, what is that, grande? And I ask for their green matcha powder mixed in water over ice. so it's cold. So it's however much matcha powder they put for the size of the cup, ice, water, shake it up, give it to me. And it's actually, I think like the real small one or the medium is only like $2 and change or something like that. So it's not a very expensive drink to order from Starbucks. I used to be a Frappuccino girl, mocha Frappuccino with 2 shots of espresso, no whipped cream. That used to be my order at Starbucks. Now it's green tea matcha. So I like this brand. And then I found this Organic Greens by Purely Inspired. It's organic greens, and I'm not even gonna I'm not even gonna read all of this, but just I got this on Amazon as well, and I'll put these 3 products, I'll put these in the description box. If I can figure out how to link it, I will. I am not affiliated with any of these, so I don't get paid to advertise. But you know, if you want to try them out, that's fine. But this is like an organic green powder, and it has all kinds of greens in it. I was really impressed with the video reviews that people left on Amazon for this product, and I've been wanting to, because the one thing I don't have that I put in my mixed drink that I like to make daily is a green powder. I usually have one, and I just haven't ordered one for a while. And then I saw this, and I've been wanting to try this for a while. This is Birdman, and it's got like this almost like a mosaic hawk or an eagle right on the front, and I got it in vanilla. I prefer a vanilla flavored protein powder to chocolate, probably because when I make my like if I decide to make a shake or something like this, and I make my shakes with water, not any other kind of liquid. Sometimes I'll put cacao powder in, or I most recently bought carob powder. And the carob powder is like naturally tends to be more sweet than cacao powder. Cacao is a little bit more on the bitter side. But oh, pardon me. I got the glasses on, I still can't read. Okay, this is not an eagle, and it's not a hawk. Guess what it is? It's a falcon. I told you I've been up for a long time, and I'm super tired. I should be taking a nap right now, which is usually what I do this time of day. Organic plant protein, okay? 1.32 pounds of protein powder in here, and yeah, it's got all kinds of good things in it. One thing that I have found is that a lot of the protein powders have gums in it, like xanthan gum, guar gum. I know there's another gum in it, and some other like fillers and ingredients in it to keep it from caking and sticking together. Okay. Well, you know, if you keep it tight, and I mean, I'm in Florida, for heaven's sakes, it's so humid here. You know, you just got to keep things tightly closed, and sealed up, and that way you can maybe try to keep the humidity out of things. But I may do a review on these 3 products together, because I showed them to you together. I know this video started out as one thing, and it's finishing up as look what I bought on Amazon. But I think I've covered pretty much most of what I wanted to discuss with you, just about the update and where I am right now back in Florida. I'm very happy to be here. Work is going really well right now. I've got my vehicle situation taken care of. I'm in a safe place. I have a roof over my head. I've got my old futon bed back. And I need to get back to yoga. I've got a lot going on right now, and I'm just balancing a number of different aspects of my life right now all at one time, and I'm just one of those people that I just get very overwhelmed easily. So I'm doing the best that I can right now. So I'm probably gonna close this one out, but that's the update for now, and I'll try to get back on a regular filming schedule for you, and bring you some more of the videos that you enjoy watching. So and I will say too, thank you so much for everyone that watched my over 50 makeup video, because that video has had more than 7,000 views. I just can't believe it. I mean, me 7,000 views. Wow. I mean, it's amazing. But I will say, people, you know, once you get to the point of being 50, you start watching a lot of videos that other women over 50 are doing when it comes to, like, from here up. You know, everybody wants to know what everybody else is doing, and yeah, I've got, like I said, I've got more videos coming. I want to talk about like facial fillers and things like that. So it's all in the near future. So please sit tight, hang in there with me. Don't give up on me yet. I've got more videos coming, and I look forward to making them for you. So again, I appreciate your viewership, and if you're not subscribed, or you're thinking about it, please consider doing so, and like the videos, because when you like them, it really does give me some confidence in what I'm doing, and it lets me know that you like the content that I'm making. So, all right, take care, and I'll be making another video from sunny Florida. All right, take care, and I'll see you soon.